Hello, my name is Albrecht Jander. I'm a professor of electrical engineering and I work in the Applied Magnetics Laboratory. One of the projects we work on is how to improve how we record and store the information on our computers. So right now most of the things people store their information on is either a hard disk drive or what they call a flash drive or a thumb drive. And we're working on technology to improve hard disk drives and maybe some technology to replace or improve the way information is stored on hard drives like this. Okay, so magnets are really good for storing information. So you can think about, say, some little piece of magnetic material, and if you apply a magnetic field to it, it gets magnetized, we call it that. And if you put the field the other direction, it gets magnetized the other direction. And so you can think of that as storing information, because once you magnetize it, it stays magnetized virtually forever. Just consider this little magnet here. If I apply a magnetic field to it, I can flip the magnet around like that. So I can change one bit of information that I've stored on this magnet. So actually people have been storing information with magnets for a long, long time. This is a memory board from an old computer from the 1950s. And if you look very closely, you probably can't see this on the camera, but each bit is actually stored on a tiny, tiny little magnet. Okay. And it looks somewhat like this. So if you could zoom in on this really close, you would see lots of these tiny little donut magnets, and each one is strung up on some wires. And when you put a current through that wire, you can magnetize that little magnet and store one bit information. So this old computer board has about 65 kilobytes of these little donuts on there, all strung up on wires. Okay, so of course that's old technology, but with this new approach we could probably expect to fit about 100 times as much information on this tiny little chip compared to that old ugly board that I just showed you. So everybody's familiar with the little flash drives, right? So the question is, why is this magnetic memory going to be any better than what we have here on the flash drive? And the answer is that you can actually only record on a flash disk drive a limited number of times, and after that it wears out. Whereas the magnetic memories, you can record any number of times and they always remember the information. The other advantage is that you can actually integrate this magnetic memory technology directly onto microprocessor chips, and that's something that you can't do with the flash technology at this point. In our research, we're working with a couple different companies to try to develop and improve the magnetic memory technology and eventually integrate that with microprocessor technology. So in our research, we use this machine over here to determine if the magnetic material is going to be good for storing data on it. And so the material actually gets inserted between this big set of electromagnets, and we apply magnetic fields both low frequency and high frequency and make measurements on the materials to see if it's going to be good for storing data. So our ultimate research goal is to come up with new materials and new devices that can be used to essentially improve our computer and cell phone processors and give us a better user experience.